Welcome to installment number 3 of 3 Boodles. We've got the first 2 are linked down here on YouTube. And I want to welcome all my patrons and other people who are, I guess, all potential patrons to broadcast number 3. When last we left our hero, he had been convinced by his uncles that he was going to need to solve a boodle, which is where the title 3 Boodles comes from. A boodle is a kind of a problem, but he's not really sure what the problem consists of. All he knows right now is that there's a girl who doesn't look any too pleased to see him standing down the hill. And that's where we pick the story up. She didn't move, but her eyes tracked me. I wished she would say something, do something, anything. If a boodle was a problem to solve, didn't there need to be a problem? This wasn't a problem, it was a girl. Wait. She reminded me of someone. There was this girl that used to be in my class when I was in 3rd grade. Emily, that was it. She had red hair like this, and once she wore it in braids, just like this girl. It was a couple of years ago, but if she'd grown a little, and if I squinted... Emily? I said. If possible, she stared at me harder. In a minute, she wouldn't need to shoot me. I'd be dead from her glare. Doug, she said. I say said, but I mean spat, or said the way you say gross. Yeah, it's me. How have you been? What do you care? I stopped walking. Hey, I'm just trying to be nice. Since when? You were never nice before. I wasn't? What did I do? I thought. I thought I was. I thought, you ate lunch at the same table for a whole year, you and all your friends. Of course we did. We always ate at that table. So I ate at the same table the whole year too. Okay, I don't remember. She scoffed and kicked a rock at me. Of course you don't remember. You never even noticed. I ate by myself across the room. What was the big deal here? Well, you could have come and sat with us, I said defensively, squirming a little because I knew that wasn't really true. We took up all the seats, and we made sure nobody else was in them. If somebody tried to sit there... I did come sit with you, she said, eyes narrowing and getting even more angry looking. And you and your buddies poured a milk on my head and told me to get lost. Here's where I made a serious mistake. I laughed. I know I shouldn't have. I tried to stop myself, but all of a sudden I remembered that day and Karsten pouring the milk on her head, and it was just so funny. I could see right away that it wasn't funny to her, and yeah, that was understandable why she might be a little upset about it, but man, that was 3 grades ago. She couldn't still be mad about that, could she? She sure could. She said carefully, I think you're the only thing keeping me here, and if I get rid of you, I can go home. That didn't sound like what my uncles had in mind, but now I was getting seriously scared. She wasn't kidding, and she had a gun. I was looking around for a place to run to when something came up over the lip of a hill behind her. It was big and black and shaggy and moving fast. I pointed. Em? I said. Don't try to change the subject. You're just a dream. I can shoot you and it won't matter. No, really, there's something behind you. I couldn't tell what it was because she was blocking my view, but then there was a growl, a snarl that rose into a roar, and Emily got a scared look on her face and whirled around and fired her gun. She must have hit the thing because there was a bellow, deep and powerful, and then it rose up on its hind legs and it was towering, twice as tall as we were, 3 times as tall, with dark brown fur and huge wide legs and paws the size of shovel blades. And claws, half a foot long if they were an inch. And the mouth opened wide in a furious roar. It looked like the mouth of a cave, like you could drive a car into it. Oh, fangs. Did I mention the fangs? Must have been 100 of them, thick white knives sticking down from the roof of the cave. A bear, probably a Kodiak or a grizzly. I couldn't tell because I was shaking so hard, but it didn't matter because the bear was the size of a small house, whatever kind it was. The roar seemed to go on for hours, louder and louder, until the ground shook and Emily and I had to cover our ears, and she dropped her gun, which didn't matter because apparently shooting it only made it mad. I'm not proud of it, but I hid behind Emily and hoped the bear would eat her first. Would that solve the Boodle? No. Don't ask me how I knew this, but I did know it. Having the bear eat Emily would not solve the Boodle, and it would probably just leave the thing hungry enough to still eat me. We had to defeat this bear. Slobbering and furious, it was coming towards us, a step at a time, snuffling and growling and looking at us the way my little brother looks at a box of chicken nuggets, trying to decide which one to eat first. Emily looked back at me, just a quick glance, and then she ran. And boy, was she fast. I had no idea she could run like that. She was faster than any kid her age I ever saw, because I'm not super slow myself, but she left me standing there like I was carved out of rock. Now there was nothing but me and the bear, and even though it was way faster than me, I wasn't going to stand there and let it have a nibble. I ran too. Emily went down the hill, so I went the other way, hoping maybe my uncles would be up there with their guns and could rain some lead down on this bear and discourage it. But they weren't there, and there was no sign they ever had been. Where did they go? Was I alone? What could I do against a bear? I could hide. Maybe I'd be alive for another minute. Maybe the bear would go after Emily instead. I crouched down behind a boulder and peeked out. The angry bear looked a bit confused, having its meal split into 2 bits, but made up its mind fast and started up the hill toward me, snuffling at the ground. It could smell me for sure. It would get me if I stayed here. I did have a gun, but no way would my little revolver do anything to that bear, and anyway, I didn't know how to use it like my uncles did. I'd probably shoot myself. But I had to do something, or that bear would find me as sure as Emily had red hair. Emily. She was probably just as mad at me as the bear was. I bet she ran all the way to wherever. Away from here, anyway. But no, I could see her head, poking out from behind a boulder at the bottom of the hill, looking up at me and the advancing bear. She hadn't run away after all. I don't know why that mattered to me. It wasn't like she could do anything to make my terrible situation better, but I felt that just having company made me feel a little less awful. Still, there was nothing to do about the bear. It was coming, and the rock I was hiding behind wouldn't cover me forever. The bear was going to get me, and mad as it was going to tear me in half. I could hear its snout snuffling along the ground, hunting for my scent, only a few feet away now. Any moment it would rise up on its hind legs again, or swat the rock aside, and that would be it. But I did still have a gun. If I wasn't going to use it to shoot the bear, maybe I could use it for something else. And that's where we'll end our story today. Stay tuned later in the week for installment number 4 of 3 Boodles, and we'll find out what happens with our hero and the bear. As always, thank you so much for listening, and make sure you leave me a comment. Let me know how you like the story, and I'll see you next time.